All right, so we're going to continue on with Unit 3, Learning Target 7 through 9, which is going to deal with soil texture and soil structure. So soil texture is the fineness or coarseness of soil. It describes the proportion of three sizes of soil particles. These three particles are sand, silt, and clay. And on the picture on the right, you can kind of see how the sizes of these different particles relate to one another. Notice that clay is the smallest, then silt, then sand. So the percentage composition of each of these three individually, will give you the soil texture, and we can actually use charts to figure out the name of soil based off the percentage composition of these three particles. So texture is important because it affects water holding capacity, permeability, soil workability, and the ability of plants to grow. So how soil is put together in a certain area will influence each of these characteristics, which also plays a role into whether or not this particular type of soil is going to be successful for agricultural purposes or growing purposes. If it is going to be successful, which type of plants are going to grow best in this type of soil. So these are very important vocab definitions. I'll let you pause the video if need be to get these and and understand how the structure of the soil plays into each of those. So, like I said, we can use charts to determine soil texture. So the percentages of the sand, silt, and clay must be tested in a lab. Once tested, you may determine the textural class of soil by referring to the textural triangle. There are 12 basic textural classes. We'll look at the triangle here in a minute, and you'll also get a PDF attached next week to your Google Classroom assignment that you can download and keep a copy. So the relative amounts of these, or the percentage, is going to give you a classification of soil. And again, this is not something that could be done just visually. It has to be tested in a lab. So this is the textural triangle. As you can see, the numbers on the side are percentages, even though the percentage sign is not with them. You have the percent clay, percent silt, and the percent sand. So you'll start at a certain percentage and you'll work your way up until you get to a cross section of the percentage of the other two um, characteristics of the soil. And then the area that all three of those lines meet is going to give you the certain classification of soil based off the composition. So some different types of soil structure. You have granular, and the particles of granular soil are small, non-porous, and they are strongly held together. So what we mean by porous is the ability of water to run through it. Next, you have crumb, and the particles are small, they are porous, and they're not strongly held together. Next, you have platy, and these are flat plate-like plates that overlap, usually causing slow permeability, meaning water does not leach through very quickly. You have columnar, which is column-like, a horizontal column-like. Blocky are exactly what you think it is. The particles are block-like with 6 or more sides. All three dimensions are about the same. Then you have structuralists, and there is no apparent structure. It may be found in one or two forms. Single grain, which soil particles exist as individuals and do not form aggregates, or massive, and soil particles cling together in large uniform masses. So here's a picture representation of each of those types that we talked about. And this is where we'll end. Feel free to go back and watch this video whenever you need. And also be sure to complete the video form. If you have questions, let me know. And you'll have a soil formation assignment for tomorrow. Thank you.